Hello, everyone. Good morning. So I'm Divya. I'm one of the co-founders at DevAssure. And today we just wanted to present to you in terms of how you can convert your Figma designs into automated tests within a few minutes itself, right? So I'll be demoing the entire platform to you to understand and showcase, what exactly we've built as well. And if you have any questions, please feel free to post them on the chat. So I have Gayatri with me on the call as well, who will be moderating the chats. Either she'll be responding over the chat itself, or she'll actually put out the question to me so they can answer it for everyone to listen as well. Right. So if you still have any more questions to us, you can still email us at support@devassure.io. Right. So I'll just get started. Go ahead and start sharing my screen. Yeah. Right. So in terms of for anyone who's new to DevAssure itself, right? In terms of what we are doing is we are building like an entire test orchestration platform, which enables where we have multiple agents deployed to enable testing seamlessly from end to end itself, right? So right from your Figma mockups or your Jira stories or documentation, we have the ability to convert all of those into test cases and the test cases into test automation and put them on your CI pipelines. So from an end to end basis, this is what we do, right? And yeah, so the agenda is pretty straightforward. I'm just going to explain how we are doing it and then highlight in terms of what we are doing and then a quick demo of it. And towards the end, we'll have a 15-minute conversation with one of our customers at Coverstack as well. So this is how we are doing it, right? So essentially, right, like we as QA engineers, so I have huge background. Almost my entire career I've spent being a QA engineer and an SDET, right, before becoming a founder. So one of the things that we do before writing test cases is that we analyze all of the documentation that is provided, right? Whether it is in Figma or as wireframes or just video recordings or anything like on Jira as your user stories, or you have an Epic and you have multiple user stories, you have multiple tasks, multiple bugs that you eventually log against those user stories and all that, right? So all that information is present, and then you have Google Docs. You probably take screenshots of your application itself. Now, all of this information is the one that helps us build the context of the entire application itself, right? Right from, how certain features are supposed to function to how certain, APIs are supposed to interact with the application. What are the different processes that happen in the background? What are the different async operations that happen? What are the details that actually get saved into your database? So all of this information is available across different documentation. And we as QA engineers go through all of these different documentation, understand, and then we try to write the test cases. And then we start interacting with the product managers and the developers to be able to, align the test cases along with whatever they have envisioned, and in terms of implementation as well, to make sure that all of the test cases are in line with that as well. But as the features grow and as the number of documentation grows, as the number of mockups grow, right, one of the things is that missing feature context itself, especially when you have multiple QA engineers working across different teams. Everyone tends to be working in silos, and this causes a lot of friction in terms of understanding how these different features are going to function. And this is something that we faced at Microsoft as well, right? Where we used to see that, when we are at an integration point, we find that there are a lot of issues that are actually occurring. And it's because of the context that is actually missing throughout the different teams which are working in silos. So in order to do that, we've built something called as an AI brain, which basically, takes all of your mockups and your features and everything, and then it kind of builds the entire context. This is the part that you see here, right here. And this agent is the one that continuously builds the context based on the documentation that is being provided. Even if you update these documents, even if the design changes, it still keeps, building the documentation. And that is why we are a context-aware automation solution. And then once the entire context is actually created, the test cases are generated. And because of the entire context that is actually being maintained, everything from your regression test to functional test to end-to-end test, questions to build, and everything is actually built. And similar to how your QA engineers ask the product managers questions, the same thing the agent also does, right? So instead of say assuming that certain functionalities are supposed to behave in a certain way, it starts to ask a lot of questions as well. And these questions help, build more comprehensive use cases itself. And then finally, once the test cases are built, you have the ability to convert these test cases into test automation itself. And because the entire context is built over a period of time, as more and more information is added, the test cases become more and more comprehensive. And in a place where you right now it takes around 300 test cases. For 300 test cases to generate, it takes around 30 minutes. So that's how fast it is, and that's the amount of time that you save as well. So instead of spending your time in terms of writing the test cases one by one, you can leverage agents like this to quickly write your test cases and then quickly to automate them as well, so that you can focus on more of the edge case scenarios and the real world scenarios rather than focusing on certain repeated tasks. So the repeated tasks are what we are trying to automate using these multiple agents itself. And now to the demo itself. Right. So for those of you who are not aware, DevAssure is actually an on-prem solution. So once you sign up on the website itself, you'll be able to download all of the required apps to be able to set it up on your desktop itself. We support multiple operating systems with Windows, Linux, and with Mac as well. So once you download and install, every setup that is actually required for you to generate your test cases or to generate all of your test automation itself, everything will happen within your local, and all of the required drivers, everything will be set up within your system itself. And in terms of this context that is mentioned, right, all of this will also be saved in your local. So nowhere any of this information is going to be stored on the cloud, which means you can be guaranteed that none of your business requirement documents or any of your PRDs or user stories or anything are going to be residing in the cloud. Now with the demo, let me just quickly go to the screen with the demo itself. Yeah. So this is the desktop app that I've already downloaded, and I do have like a few test cases which I've already created here, but I'm just going to start from scratch itself, right? So we have multiple compartments within the app itself, right from test case generation to building your test automation. And then we have various other components as well in terms of optimizing your entire test automation workflows, whether it is with test data or whether it is with maintaining multiple environments or visual validations or accessibility or API automation, web automation, app automation, everything you can do within a single interface itself. And in order to collaborate, you have the ability to we also have a Git plugin, and using the Git plugin, you have the ability to collaborate with your team members as well. So now I'll just go ahead and create a new feature. I'm just going to pick up the example of booking.com here. Sorry. I'm just going to pick up the example of booking.com. And as you can see, let me just shrink this a little so that you'll be able to see it. Yeah. So as you can see, you have multiple integrations here with Figma and Jira. We keep adding more and more integrations as we get requests from more and more customers. So I'm just going to use the Figma integration. I'm going to add a connection here, and I'm going to just bring up my design ID as well. Get all of the files so that this is like a two-way integration with Figma itself. So even if there are updates, you can still go ahead and update it here, and you'll still be able to get all of the design updates and then generate the test cases for the updated designs as well. So I'm just going to get all the images here. And then additionally, I can also build some context if I want, just provide additional details, like say if you have an architecture diagram or if you have a sequence diagram, anything of that sort, right? You'll still be able to add those details here as well. And even if you have it on Jira, you can also provide, say, your Jira ID as well. And then you can add multiple Jira tickets. You can select the connection, include the siblings or the related tickets as well, and then you'll be able to import that as well. Additionally, if you have just like static screenshots, you can add them directly. And similarly, if you want to define the scope, right? Say if I want to generate only web app test cases, I don't want to generate mobile app test cases, even that is fine. And additionally, you can also provide additional details like generate only, like say edge cases or only the P0 tests. You can provide all of these prompts as well, or you can even like say update a few of the requirements also while you're providing these prompts. And then that's it, you send it. And it just takes a few minutes to understand the entire context of the application. So the thing is, booking.com is available over the internet, but it's still not going to be using that because all of our models are private models. So which means that it's going to rebuild the entire context again, right? It's not going to use everything which is available with the internet. The domain expertise that it's trying to build, the context that is actually trying to build, everything is based out of the documentation that is being provided and not based on the resources which are available on the internet itself. So that's the reason why your resources will also not get shared over the internet. So basically, across other models, it will not get shared because we are using private models. Yeah, so you can see that the test cases have started to generate. So here are some of the samples, right? So it identifies, like, say, the priority, adds different tags so that you can segregate the test cases based out of that. And then it also has the ability to specify the expected actions and expected results as well. So you'll still be able to go to these independent test cases. So you can see the entire test case, the verified results as well. And that's it, right? So this is a tool which enables you to maintain your test cases, your test data, and your automation within a single interface itself. So coming back to the test cases, it will continuously keep generating, and unless and until it has more questions, it will start posting the questions as well. But right now it does not have any questions, so it's not posted it. I'll just show you an example where questions are also asked, right? So this is the standout feature within DevAssure where, instead of assuming, right, because AI implies hallucinations as well. So instead of assuming or causing any assumptions, it starts to ask a lot of questions. And once you provide answers to these questions, it will start, generating more comprehensive use cases. So there are 25 test cases. So you can see that it's hardly been like around 1 minute, and then it's already been able to generate a lot of questions. And now it started asking a lot of test cases, and now it started asking a lot of questions as well. So you can continue to answer these questions, and then you can provide answers to these questions, and then it will start generating more comprehensive use cases. Additionally, you can also provide feedback in terms of the test cases that are being generated, either by providing the details here, or you can also delete the test cases directly, or you can update it here. So the LLM learns from all of this information as well. Okay. So once the test cases are generated, the next part is in terms of generating the test automation itself. So we have multiple ways of generating the test automation. For simpler use cases, right, for the straightforward ones, you can directly go here, click on the test cases, click on this, and then you'll be able to select the test cases that you want to automate. Select the Yarn AI, select the website you want to automate it, and then just go ahead and automate it. So what it does is it brings up the different browsers, and then it starts to understand. So it brings up each of these test cases in different sessions, and then it starts to understand what the test cases is expecting it to do, and it starts to replicate them and starts to generate the scripts as well. So rather than being a completely autonomous agent, it also generates the deterministic scripts so that you'll be able to edit these scripts or add more details to these scripts, and you can even regenerate these scripts as well. You can add a lot of customizations in what you want to do. And one of the things is it's intuitive enough to understand if there are any hindrances. It uses image-based processing and understands that, and then it derives the context of the modal that is open, decides to close it, and then proceed with the execution itself. So you can still close this, right? So while the test cases are being generated, you have test automation also being generated, right? So if you look at it, I think for booking.com, there are around 62 test cases which have been generated. More test cases can be generated. So once you answer these questions, more test cases can be generated, and you can go ahead and start automating these test cases as well. Okay. So we also have like an assistant here, which will continuously track everything that you're doing across the app itself and provide suggestions in terms of optimizations, so that you can always go back and check to see if the scripts are complete, and to see if, like, at what stage each one of them is as well. And while this is happening, I'll just show you how you can do it for complex use cases as well. So let's pick some complex use case, right? I'll just pick something here. So I can just start the recording. Sorry, it's opened in a different window. I'm just pulling it back here. Yeah. So now I can open the application. Because this is an on-prem solution, your applications, even within a VPN or your local dev boxes and all, you'll be able to access. I can provide details like my username and password. So you can see that it's continuously recording. So one of the things that it does is it builds the page object model as well. So in any automation, right, in order to have optimizations and modularizations done, you need to have it in page object model. So that gives you an upper hand in terms of how you customize your entire automation framework itself. So we offer those customizations. We allow our users to be able to modify these settings as well, so that they can design the automation the way they want to be designed as well. And all of these blue components that you see here are all the ones which are the locator based components. But you can also have like coordinate based components as well, and you can also have image based components as well. So here, if I want to, like, say, go to users, or maybe I go to integrations, go to view connections. So when I click on it, even my dynamic ones, right? So table is essentially a dynamic component. When you keep adding more rows to your table itself, it's a dynamic component. It identifies all of those things. So even with your date components, the same thing can be applied as well, right? Similarly, if you open it in a new tab, you'll be able to it'll automatically switch to the new tab. The same thing happens with single sign-on with Google itself, right? And then even if you want to have validations here in terms of text-based validations, or if you just want to go back and then validate to see if the specific element is occurring, you'll be able to add that. And then we also have another feature in terms of visual validations as well. So what this does is it enables visual regressions across multiple release cycles. So it takes a base snapshot and then it compares it across multiple release cycles. And this way you can keep track of how your tests are performing, especially on the UX rendering aspect, right? Say if there's a small CSS change in one feature, it tends to affect the other features as well. So it keeps track of all of those things as well, right? And then if you want to have multiple sessions, right? Like say if I want to log in as a different user here, you will have the capabilities of doing that as well. The tool has a complete capabilities of being able to track all of those things. So once you do this, you can stop the recording. So like I mentioned, page object model, different pages are created for the different interactions that you're having, and your passwords and email, everything is stored automatically, and your URL, sorry, this is with the what that is actually happening. Your URLs are also stored within their environment so that you can execute it across multiple environments. You can save it. You have additional suggestions in the test data that you're using as well, and that's it, right? So your entire test automation is done. While there are 5 other test cases that are being generated, you can use the recorder to do it for complex use cases. And then you have more options available here as well, right? Like say if you want to intercept the network logs, you have the capabilities to do that. If you want to call APIs and then to just seed the data or just do some data preparations before you start your automation itself, you can do that as well. Right, if you want to do accessibility testing, you can do that. Any file-based operation, whether it is upload or downloads or comparison, opening the files in different formats, like say PDF or PPT or anything of that. Like say if you want to do Excel comparisons, you'll be able to do that. Any CSV validations that you want to do, you can do that as well. And any database validations, you have the ability to do that. You can invoke a database query and validate the response that you get as well. And beyond this, we have the capabilities of like adding the test data as well. So we have multiple options, and you also have the ability to group multiple test data as well. So as you can see, you can see that some of the test cases are already done. So here you can see that, the test cases are recorded, page objects are created. So I can just go ahead, save it, and that's it. My automation is also done for the other test case that I have. Right. And you can independently like work on specific test cases as well, right? You don't have to group it. So this is with your web automation. And with API automation, we have a little more of a difference where we have the capability to, I think, yeah, this is still generating. So you have the capability to add like an entire, say, schema itself. Just stop the generation here just to showcase this. So I can go back here. Yeah, let me come to this. So I'm just putting in my Postman request here. So this is a huge Postman export that I have. So it can either be this or it could be a Swagger documentation as well. And then I can just go ahead and generate the API test. So what it does is it processes the document that you've added. So if there are 100 API definitions, it's going to create all of those API definitions, and it's going to create relevant tests as well. Similar to the UI, you can still, UI automation, you can still close this as well. And you can see that all of your automation gets created. Right. So, I mean, all of your definitions are created first, and it's all parameterized as well, right? So all of these different, dynamic components which are available are all parameterized so that you can provide all of these details at runtime. And while it's doing, generating the definitions and all of the other details for different APIs, whether it is get, post, or put, right? While it's doing all of that, it also starts to create your test cases as well. So it starts creating the test cases. In some places, it starts to generate the test data as well. So this test data depends on only the primitive types right now. It's a little limited in that way, but it at least sets the entire premise in terms of how you want to manage your test automation itself. Sorry, this is just taking some time. So if there's this huge amount of data, so that's the reason why it's just taking some time. Let me just close the app and then just reopen it so there's still more test data that is being generated there. So that's the reason why it takes some time sometimes. But yeah, so coming back to this, right? So if you look at it, there are different ways of, generating your test automation for API itself, especially for the complex ones, right? It's able to add, like, say, code blocks as well, a lot of customizations, soft assertions, everything it does on its own, right? So you can then use this as a baseline and start generating more test cases as well, or test automation as well, right? So all of this are test cases which are generated by AI itself for your test automation. So this is not the complete set. You can go through this, validate it. There's still some human intervention required where you need to validate this, and you can use this as a baseline and then continue to generate more and more API tests itself. The same thing goes for UI as well, UI based automation as well. You can use this as your baseline, the starting one as your baseline, and then you can continue to use the recorder, or you can continue to just pick all of your different keywords which are available here, different libraries which are available here, and you can continue with the test automation. And like I mentioned, all of these environments and everything which you saw initially are created. Your constant files are also created so that you can pick the details directly from here. And you have the ability to manage multiple devices, whether it is on the cloud or we don't have a cloud setup. So we integrate with Coverstack. So you can directly integrate with, you can add a Coverstack integration and integrate with the mobile devices which are available on the cloud. And we also have the ability to have multiple simulators and emulators as well. And then you can add multiple mobile apps as well here to automate your mobile application. Mobile application is similar to what we saw with web app itself. Right? So this is a brief demo in terms of how we are doing things at DevAssure. If you need more details or if you want to understand how we solve for your specific use cases, feel free to go to our website and you can actually schedule a demo on our website itself. Right. And over to the next segment in terms of what we have to offer is in terms of a conversation with Pratik Pashte, who's been one of our customers for the longest time, and he'll be sharing his experiences in terms of about using no-code tools in general. Right, there are a lot of skepticism when it comes to using no-code tools itself. So Pratik will actually be engaging with us today. So thank you, Pratik, for taking the time to talk to us today. So I'm just going to be inviting Pratik to the conversation. I'll just stop sharing my screen.
Hi, Divya.
Hey, Pratik, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Finally, okay. Awesome. Hey, thank you, Pratik, for taking the time to talk to me today. I know we did the podcast also earlier, so thank you for spending the time. Thank you for using DevAssure.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Divya.
Yeah, Pratik, we can just get started.
Sure.
So at DevAssure, right, so we value customer feedback a lot, right? And I think Pratik's team has been instrumental in actually helping us shape DevAssure to where it is right now. And the feedback that Pratik and his team have been providing us has been able to help us to, continuously improve the features at DevAssure as well, right? So we wanted to bring in Pratik here just to, have a customer conversation and understand what he thinks about no-code tools and what he thinks about DevAssure itself, right? So Pratik is the QA lead at Coverstack, and who's here to share the journey in transforming traditional open source frameworks to AI-driven no-code automation using DevAssure. Okay, Pratik, welcome to the webinar today. Yeah.
Thank you, Divya. So I'm excited to share our experience, our team experience in the webinars. So the DevAssure is the game changer for us. So because doing regression and sanity for lots of test cases, the DevAssure is a game changer for us.
Thank you, Pratik. Thank you for that feedback. So, Pratik, your first question, right? So, where were you before DevAssure, right? Like, what did your infrastructure look like?
So basically, we were using the Selenium extensively. So with a custom framework layered on the top of that. So for API, we use Postman collections and mandatory return test cases also. So all of it worked, but barely held up the product complexity. So we had to maintain the multiple repos for that. Then we have to deal with the multiple syntaxes. Then we have to rely on the multiple experts who are the experts in that particular tool. So that stack was unified, and that fragmentation cost us and consistency and speeds is less for because of all these issues. So this is the issue we have faced before using the DevAssure.
Got it. And scaling must have been hard as well, right?
Yeah, the constant breakages in the UI, like if there is a small change in the UI, costing the lot of changes in the test cases in the Selenium also. Whether it is the UI changes or the flaky locators also. So there are some flaky test cases also there. So because of that, we got few test cases failed because of that. So which meant we were firefighting more than innovating for that also.
Okay. And so when did DevAssure come into the picture? So what stood out to you the most?
Sorry.
When did DevAssure come into the picture?
So we have evaluated multiple tools before going to the DevAssure from transfer from Selenium to the DevAssure. So we got the DevAssure caught our attention because of multiple things. Like I will mention few things. So first is the no code but deeply customizable. So it's like it wasn't a black box test. So we could inspect, extend, or tune the test as you shared like this key. We can it is AI automated, but we can extend that AI automation test cases and tune the test cases. Second one is unified tool. So one platform for web automation, mobile automation, API automation. So finally, no need to use the different automation tools. Then AI test agents. So this was the real differentiator. DevAssure could understand user flows, generate edge cases, also maintain the test cases autonomously. So on the basis of this all three things, we have did the POC for 2 weeks, and on that POC we used to take we realized that the multiple the test cases which is taking multiple time to be automated, which can be done in few minutes with the devotion only.
Got it. That's quite a shift, right? So, but using general like no code tools itself, right? So did you feel like you were giving up control, like coming from a code based tool to a no code tool?
Yeah, initially we thought like that. But can a tool really we thought that can a tool really write better test cases than us or not? But results spoke for the of the devotions themselves. The test cases were more reliable, the coverage was more thoughtful, and the effort was nearly zero. Like we can't say nearly zero, but the efforts were clearly less than the which we are already done. So we didn't lose the control. We gained the bandwidth.
That's great to hear. So let's talk about the people itself, right? So what was the team's reaction when you proposed DevAssure to the team?
So the people reaction were our engineers have invested years of scripting. They were proud of their such was like the developers have proud of their work on, which is fair. Okay, but I framed it like that. Ki, would you rather spend your time in debugging the expert issues or the on the flaky test cases, or focus on the real quality concerns like edge case planning, then risk-based testing and improving the regression effectiveness.
Got it. So that's a great way to frame it as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. So once we showed them how quickly devotion could replicate the what hours of work can be done easily with better stability, they began to trust us, and slowly the shift happened. Then the shift happened like the testers stop the fearing of UI changes. Like if there is any UI small changes, we have to test the multiple test cases. Then we have to test multiple flows. The DevAssure smart locators like DevAssure, which auto healed them. Then developers started contributing the QA, like is the plain English, they can easily able to generate the test cases. And then everyone started thinking that the testing is early in the sprint because test generation was no longer the bottleneck. So we didn't just change the tool, we changed the DNA of a team.
That's very nice, right? So in terms of the outcomes, right? So what did success look like for you?
Sorry?
What did success look like? What were the measurable wins that you had?
Hello.
Sorry, is my voice not audible now, Pratik?
It's breaking. Sorry. Hello.
Yeah, is it fine now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just asking about what did success look like? So what were the measurable wins that made you really like DevAssure?
So measurable wins will be like we'll give some numbers. So the test case velocity from writing the fewer test cases in the multiple sprint, which we as per the week our engineers are starting generating the multiple test cases in the sprint. Then test case maintenance. So with the open source elements we have to maintain the test cases, but with the DevAssure cut down the around 50% of the test case maintenance. Then it also reduce the debugging time. because as the logs of the each step are printed on the console only, which reduces the debug time. The CI stability increased significantly. Before we had to rerun the suitcase due to flaky test. We have to to do the flaky test. Now build, pass or fail. We get the real reasons because what is the reason to fail the test case and what.
Got it. So what was the business impact of all of this?
So business impact that we have reduced our regret. We have reduced our sanity time than the actual time.
Got it. Yeah. So in terms of like, where do you see the testing headed with AI and automation? So in terms of a generic way.
So we are at the beginning of the new era. Test agent like DevAssure, Yan are not just helpers; they are soon become the co-pilots like we have in the VS Code also. I envision a world where you write a user story, an AI agent will draft test cases instantly. Then the code is deployed, then agent will run the best test cases based on the recent changes. If the bug is raised, then agent does the root cause analysis and suggests the fixes. So it's going to move from test automation to test architecture by agents, and QA engineers will become the architecture strategists, not just the executors for that.
That makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of your final advice, right? So what advice would you like to give to other QA leads evaluating a move to no code and AI-driven testing itself?
So there will be few points from my end. So start with small but real use cases, like do a POC of your representative workflow. Don't just test login. Don't just do the login. Just do the POC with the DevAssure of your test cases. Then involve developers as well as product managers. When everyone sees the power of your feedback, the adaptation is the faster. Then focus on outcomes, not the tools. Like we have multiple tools in market, but focus on outcomes. Don't get stuck comparing with the futures. Look at what will reduce the QA cycle time and maintenance overhead. So most importantly, don't fear change. If you had stuck with our old framework out comfort, you will stably fight. You will be still be fighting fires.
Sure. Yeah, very true, right? I think one of the things is you've explained really well is that, decide the tools based on outcomes itself, right? So that is
Yeah.
very well put. And in terms of like fitting DevAssure into the existing tool chain, right? So one of the things that we often hear from engineering leaders is you already have a complex ecosystem. Will a new platform fit in or disrupt everything, right? So what was your experience integrating DevAssure into your existing workflows?
Yeah, that is a valid concern about of the engineers, and honestly, we had a same hesitation with the team. But what impressed us about the DevAssure is non-invasive it was. So it plugged directly into our CI/CD pipelines, no rewiring needed. Then we connected our Jira board to automatically pull user stories and generate test cases. Our version control it played well with our Git setup, so pushing the code, pushing the test cases and all that. Then we could able to run the test cases in a headless mode also with our existing infrastructure without needing to new cloud setup. So from day one, it felt like an accelerator, not a disruptor for us.
All right. Thank you, Pratik. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. I think this is really helpful. You've taken time off your busy schedule and, supported us during this webinar as well. So thank you so much for taking time, and thank you for sharing all of your feedback as well. I'm sure this is going to help us as to grow as well. And I think it's going to help the community as well really well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, yeah. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening in. I think, Pratik has shared all of his valuable insights. We did the demo as well earlier. So you can actually, if you want to try out the tool for yourself, you can go ahead and sign up and then try out the tool for yourself. Please continue to share your feedback as well with us. And then additionally, if you need a tailored demo to see if it fits your use cases specifically, you can still go ahead to devassure.io, and there you will see a scheduled demo button at the top of the page, and you'll be able to schedule a demo with us as well. And in terms of the Q&A and all of those things, if you have any more questions, please feel free to post it us to at support@devassure.io. For the other questions which are posted on the chat, we'll make sure that we reach out to them individually and answer those questions, because most of these questions are specific to their domains. So we'll make sure to answer those questions as well. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to attend the session today. Thank you so much, and we look forward to having more sessions. Thank you.